I think the snow conditions improved pretty immensely with the last storm we had, particularly in the mountains. The mountains like Sugarloaf, Sunday River, some of the ski resorts in the western part of the state actually got about a foot of snow. So that's great. It really kind of helps to add to the snowmaking they're able to do on a regular basis anyway. So on top of that, we've got some great conditions up there. And it's also helped some of the cross-country and Nordic ski areas on some of the lower level terrains who actually picked up 7 or 8 inches along the way as well. Well, some of the areas that are a little challenging are northern Aroostook County. Typically, they're very, very full of snow, but this year they haven't had quite as much snowfall as some of the other areas. They are grooming the trails up there for snowmobiling, and some of the trails that are groomed are passable and in good shape. But I think it's an area that they could probably see a little more snowfall before that base is really ready for heavier traffic.
So on the topic of people who are out taking advantage of all of the fun that winter brings, do you have any safety tips that you can kind of remind folks of?
It's always important to be safe. What is really important to remember when you're out there on the trail, always dress in layers. You know, dressing in layers really helps you to adjust your body temperature as best you can. Either you get too warm or too cold, you can either add or shed a layer. So I think that's really important. Drinking a lot of water is very important in the winter months. You know, some people don't think about it so much. In the summer, you think about how much you sweat and that kind of thing. In the wintertime, people don't think about it quite as much, but it's just as important because it can be very dry in the wintertime, and you want to keep yourself hydrated with any activities that you're doing. So those are really important. You know, certainly if you're skiing or snowboarding or snowmobiling, you know, I would say helmets are very important to have. You know, because all of those things can help you in case there is some incident that, you know, or misfortune that you have on a trail.
Are there any like unique things that go on too that folks might not be familiar with?
There are places you can go see how ice was harvested back in the turn of the century. And then another popular activity, you know, when the conditions are right, is dog sledding. We have a lot of dog sledding in Maine. You can actually take dog sledding tours with certain companies. There's also, of course, the Can-Am dog sled race up in Fort Kent every year, and that's sort of a precursor to the Iditarod race up in Alaska. So that's very interesting. Another place, of course, that has a unique activity would be the Camden Snowball with their tobogganing races that they have every year, conditions permitting, of course. But that's always a fun day to get out there. People wearing costumes, going down the toboggan chute and winning prizes for doing that. So that's very unique, I think.